Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. So today, guys, I'm doing a review on Queens, Season 1, Episode 6, Behind the Throne. So we kind of start out with a montage, right? Where it begins where it ended the last time, where they have performed at the VMAs. Everything is going good. They're getting good ratings. They want them to do their first music video. They want them to do a documentary. They want them for Saturday Night Live. You got Valeria, sitting down where she's saying, I'm not focused on the past, I'm focused on now. And it's her and her mom. And then you have Brianna going, I just can't right now. And she's getting up. So, it's like how they sit down and talk when they doing the documentary and in the show, them saying certain things, and then they'll go into other clips. I guess, they're supposed to be working on that then. And then you have Jill going, am I canceled? And then we kind of get that fast forward, or rewind, I should say, into how things all started. So we have Fabio on the Breakfast Club talking to Charlamagne and them, and they like, well, what's going on? Who was you with? Was it Lotto? Was it Doja? Like, we know you had somebody hot because you basically had slid off and, left the VMAs party early. And then he's like, no, it wasn't none of them. This was a real woman. And he was like, I usually don't kiss and tell, but for Professor Sex, I'll never forget you. You did the thing. Matter of fact, he was like, P-Sex. And he was like, he didn't get no sleep at all. And so in the meantime, her daughter walks in the bathroom like, Mommy, what you listening to? And she all smiling and giddy, off of hearing what he's saying. But then when he actually says her name, she like, what? So when the daughter comes in and asks her what she was listening to, she's like, nothing. And then the son comes right behind the daughter and was like, wait a minute, Ma, you did something with with Flavio Foreign. And then she's like, no, get out of here or whatever. So then the daughter tells her they out of waffles, and she's like, okay. So Valeria is cooking for her mom. I mean, she's really just head first into this whole mom thing. And again, like what was going on, people, y'all got money, like we need Dana in the building, get that DNA test done, because how do we know that this is really your mother just because she pops up and says she's your mother? Like, I don't understand it. Anyway, she cooking her food and the mother's eating it, and you could tell from her face that it's like, but it's nasty, but she's still trying to eat it like, oh, it's not the worst that I've ever had. And all of a sudden, she pulls out this diamond necklace, and the mother's like, oh, God, I hope this isn't real diamonds or whatever. And she's like, as if, of course it's real diamonds. And she's putting it on her like, oh, I always wanted to buy my mom a necklace. So, you got to take this. And then the mom is like, well, I know that I owe you an explanation. And she was like, yeah, you do, but I don't need to have it right now. We'll have our time for that. Like right now, I just want to be in the moment, and I'm just really happy. So Valeria is just eating this whole mama thing up, and I hope she's not going to end up getting hurt by it. Jill's husband finally gives her the divorce. Okay. He finally lets her ass go. And he asked for everybody to step out the room. And then he says to her, you are a good person, and I hope you don't change too much. And even though he's been acting psychotic as hell the last 2 episodes or so, I think he sees that the fame has been getting to her and that she's been making some changes. And, I hope, well, we see that she don't in this episode. But she really does need to listen, and she really does need to check herself, because she's starting to lose herself. And she had the nerve to be trying to teach Lauren, a.k.a. Little Muffin, about not getting caught up and being able to separate. And she is falling deep down in a hole as, time is going on, we see. So, Jill, honey. And if that's the case, I don't know if you was ever a good person. Maybe he thought you was a good person, but we gonna pray for you. So then we have, you know, them saying they ready to drop a new song, do this new music video, get a documentary going. And E-Rock tells them that Muffin sent the verse. So they like, you know, let's go ahead and listen to her verse. And when they listen to it, they like, it's all right. But you know what I mean? I guess it would work. And then he tells them, well, even though Little Muffin is my artist, you know, I still got to do what's best and go for what's best. And Lady London did send us a verse too, so we could go ahead and listen to hers as well. And we have Valeria, you know, come in and she's like, oh, you know, I was with my mom. I'm sorry I'm late. And of course they like, well, I'm glad you getting to be with her. But they asking the questions that all of us is asking. They like, you know, have you had to sit down? Did she tell you why she left baby Valeria on the side of the damn road with, you know, in a blanket? And what is her excuse? And she's like, oh, no, I didn't get to that yet. And, you know, we'll have that conversation. And they was like, well, I'm just saying, usually when family come around is one thing and they all basically save money at the same time. And then they like, we just want you to be careful. So, yes, Valeria, please be careful, sweetie, because, you know, I don't even usually like you, but nobody deserves to have, you know, somebody come around all these years later and be like, I'm your mom. And then the next thing you know, they ripping your ass off. So listen to what they saying. And so anyway, they listen to the Lady London verse, and then they all of a sudden like wanting her over Little Muffin. And Brianna's like, nah, man, that's real tacky. I'm not going to do that. She was like, we wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for Little Muffin. So she was like, I got to go get my kids, you know, and pick them up from school. But y'all already know, you know, how I feel about it. Y'all can listen to that Lady London if y'all want to, but it should be Little Muffin. And basically Naomi is agreeing with her, and she's like, listen, I just picked her up from the rehab, and this is something that could really make her relapse, and I'm not going to be the one to help with that. And she's saying, right, Jill, you know, tell them. And Jill, of all people, had the nerve to turn and be like, well, you know, this is business and we have to do what we have to do. So when they took the vote, basically E-Rock, Valeria, and Jill voted against Little Muffin. So when they tell Little Muffin, she was like, y'all geriatric bitches. Oh, God, I couldn't even get the word out. Y'all know what I mean. Geriatric bitches. She was so pissed, and I can't blame her. She was like, you know, y'all turn on me like this. And then when she finds out how they broke down, you know, the votes and who was against us, she's like, Jill, you? And she was like, oh, I guess we see who the real you is. So it's like it keeps kind of foreshadowing with Jill, where the girls have already said something to her in the past. The husband just said something to her at the divorce. Now you done came and broke poor Little Muffin heart by dissing her. And then she just standing there looking stupid or whatever the case may be. And so then she goes back to them damn loser ass friends that I don't like. And they still making it about them. Like, even with her saying, you know, what they did to her and all that she's going through, they still like, oh, man, so what does that mean for us? And yeah, because we ain't did this and that in a minute. And it's brought up that she's known them from middle school. And I'm like, damn, that make it even worse. Like, this is really your people's, because I thought these was just some, you know, maybe people that the damn record label is paying to be around her. But for this to be actually supposed to be your friends from media school, like, that's tacky as hell. I don't like them. And I felt like she needed to curse them out and leave them the hell alone the way she did with Valeria and Jill and them. So Valeria gives her mom a check for $100,000 after having the conversation with the girls in the studio. And the mother is basically like, starts to tell her the story of how, you know, the reason why she left her was because she was supposedly getting abused. And she didn't want her to have that kind of life. And she was like, when I left you there, you know, I couldn't even look at you, because if I did, then I wouldn't have been able to leave you. And then she says, you know, I left and I went to Puerto Rico and I never looked back. But I seen the stuff that you've been doing over the years, and I felt like I made the right decision. Like, that's what gave me peace and made me feel okay, because you were doing so, you know, well and out here in the entertainment industry. And I'm like, okay, girl, we gonna believe your story for now. So anyway, she's like, if you want me to leave, I'll leave. but I'm not doing this for no $100,000, and basically rips up the check. So of course that looks good, because it's like, who's ripping up $100,000 check if she's supposed to be there for money? So Brianna babysitter cancels on her. I think she says she's sick or something like that. The damn house is a mess. It's closed every which way. The son laid up on the couch, and she's saying, you can help. And he's like, oh, no, thank you. And so everything is falling on her. Excuse me. So she ends up having to bring, the kids with her, because she ain't got no babysitter. And they meet this guy, I'm probably not saying his name right, Rodrigo Cardales or something like that. I'm probably butchering it. But he's the music director, the music video director. And he immediately locks eyes with Naomi and is happy to see her, and telling her how he's seen one of her performances somewhere else. And she's like, really, there? She was like, wow, only 12 people was there. And he was like, well, yeah, I was one of the 12. So I'm like, okay. Now Jill, all of a sudden finds out that she's in the news. And it's saying, because when they were coming out, they stopped her, like asking her about her divorce and stuff like that. And she was like, no comment. But when they talked about her being like this, queer queen and representing and all this stuff, she was like, had I known that this was like, being queer was gonna, make me even more famous and make y'all like me so much, I would have came out a long time ago. I don't think she meant it in any bad way, but you know how today's society is. You gotta watch what you say, because the minute you say it, they on you. And so she was all over the news for that, with them saying, well, then she's just trying to use that to gain her success, like if it's not really real. And that's when she asked, am I canceled? And so Brianna kids is acting a damn fool, okay? Like, they ain't got no home training. You see them running all around the place, and at one point, they on a cart, and they done ran the cart into the trailer and made the whole trailer shake. And she's coming outside yelling at them, and they still steadily running. And the same brother that was sitting his ass on the couch doing nothing basically is laughing. And she's like, you laughing? This is not funny. Like, I'm here to do work, and they over here messing up. You was supposed to be watching them. And so then he's like, what time is this going to be over? She was like, I don't know. We supposed to be getting ready for soon. He was like, well, I have my soccer. And she forgot, obviously, because she's like, oh, shoot. And then she's like, let me see if I could call such and such to see if they could come get you. But at that point, one of the assistants come out and is like, they ready for you now. And then she just looks at him like, I'm sorry, or whatever the case may be. And he had the nerve to say, keep being a slut. And she was like, excuse me? And he was like, well, that's what all my friends are saying anyway. And she was like, first of all, like, little boy, I will yoke your behind the hell up. What she should have did. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have just been saying it to him. She's like, apologize to me for that. You should not be saying anything like that to your mother. And if your friends are saying something like that, you need to check them too. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, and your friends don't know what they're talking about either. And then the assistant is still telling her, you got to come on. So she like, we not done with this. We going to finish discussing it later. I'm like, girl, you better than me, because baby, them damn assistant and people and whoever else would have still been waiting. But anyway, we still have Rodrigo flirting hard with Naomi. He's just telling her she's so beautiful and that she don't need to stay in the back because the camera attracts to her and it loves her. Stop hiding. It don't make no sense to hide because it finds her, and he needs her to come out to the front. And he's like, oh, well, why don't we go to Naomi's part? And I'm like, okay, Rodrigo, we see you. And so Little Muffin, after all of these different things is happening and having a discussion with her phony ass friends, she decides to call up E-Rock and says she wants a meeting with the label. And when she goes there for the meeting, she's actually just Lauren all the way. She got her hair out. She don't got no makeup on. She got her little regular clothes on. And she actually looked really pretty and really cute. I kind of prefer her that way, to be honest. And she goes in there and ends up telling them that she wants to make a record under her name, Lauren. She's like, I've grown out of Little Muffin now. Little Muffin was something that I basically made up, like an alter ego, because of all the things that I went through in my childhood and getting teased and different stuff like that. And that's how she came to be. And she served her purpose. But now, it's time to let her go and be Lauren. And so they just looking for a minute. And then one of the record execs, I'm assuming she's the top one, But, I guess, she has bosses over her, but she's probably the top one for that department. She was like, they had told her from the beginning that they will always go with her direction and give her freedom and, listen to her insight. And so she's like, you know what, that sounds good, a Lauren album, but let me take this to the top. So in the meantime, Little Muffin, aka Lauren, or Lauren aka Little Muffin, is excited. She's got a good vibe from it. She figures they're going with it. So her and these same phony ass friends is partying it up in the pool. They got the bottles out and they bouncing all around. And she gets a call from E-Rock where he's like, the label dropped us. And she's like, what? He was like, yeah. And he said, you still owe them money. I think it was like $700,000 and you still got to make her out. So she was like, well, what about the house? Can't we sell that? He was like, you don't own that house. You rent that. And that's stuff that we see happen with a lot of these artists. You're not paying attention to what you signing. You thinking you own stuff. And in the same time that he's telling her about this, one of the damn boys throw something and break the damn window at the house. Like I said, trash. Ben needed to get rid of them. So then Brianna finally has that sit down talk with her son that she needed to have, and she's telling him, whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, you are the man of the house now, and I have to depend on you, for more help than I did before. And we all got to pitch in together, especially with your father being gone. And he's like, that's not fair. And she was like, yes, it's not fair, and life is not fair, but that's where we are at now. And I think they come to a pretty common ground or whatever, and they give each other a hug. So then we have the girl. That's why I always said, even if it's something small, baby, pay attention, because they're not showing these things for nothing. Remember, in that first episode, we saw this girl that Jill basically attacked and was pushing and going, what do you think this is? And who do you think you are? And all of that, for trying to make a pass at her. She pops back up, honey. And she was like, oh yeah, she assaulted me in 2001. I quit the biz because of her. I was depressed. I didn't want to do anything anymore. I thought it was something wrong with me. And I know it was probably a little out of line for me to flirt with her or whatever. But she was like, oh, she's not gay or whatever the case may be. And now you want to come out calling yourself a queer queen. And I was like, I had to speak up about this. So that was real to me too, because we see how things will come back from people past, and they be like, they said this at this time, they did that at that time. And so now Lady London don't want to do this with them anymore, because this is bad publicity. Stuff is starting to fall apart. And Naomi and all of them feel like, yeah, we know the truth, but at the end of the day, this is affecting all of us. So we gonna have to fix this, and you gonna have to get this together. So then they go back to Little Muffin now to ask her to be in the video. And she's like, why should I do it? And I'm like, yeah, why should she do it? I mean, y'all basically treated this girl like trash. At this point, she done got dropped from the record label, owed them money, is literally homeless, and y'all would not back her when she was just coming out of damn rehab, knowing that she's the one that still fought for y'all. And when the guy didn't want y'all, still said, I'm not doing this without y'all. And so y'all are trash to me when it comes to that. So I'm with Little Muffin, but she still wanted to be nice to y'all, and I wouldn't have. Okay, so it is what it is. And they do the music video, and seems like everything is good. They go and they celebrate. And E-Rock is telling her that, Little Muffin, that he paid off her debt. And I'm like, oh, that's so sweet, E-Rock, but where the hell you got the money from? Because I don't remember you having no money. I know you was having problems coming up with the funds, and Valeria was saying she was going to help you out. So I hope Eric ain't get himself into something to pay off this debt. But all of a sudden, he's saying he had the money, and he also offers to let her stay with him. So that was nice. And they're there celebrating, and Eve got all her damn kids. I swear it be seeming like it's more than 5 of them. And they all, basically partying with them too. So Tina had came out to help Jill with the interview when she had invited her to the party. And I guess she just felt like, if she's doing all of this, and if she said this and that, then, maybe there's a chance that there's still something there with them. And so she tells her how, you know, she could probably put in for work. She got a lot of time off that she could take and she could travel with her. And Jill is kind of like, what are you talking about? And she was like, am I misunderstanding something? And she was like, well, you know, I appreciate what you did and everything like that. But, you know, right now I don't think that would be possible for you to come and travel with me. You know, I'm thankful for what you did. And so Tina is pissed, you know, basically she feels like, yo, you a damn user. You really got some shit with you. And Jill gonna tell her, oh, well, we all got free will. Yes, I'm thankful for what you did, but I didn't make you do it. Like, you did it on your own. And then Tina tells her she's disgusting. And Jill, you are disgusting. Like I said, I don't like the direction that you're going in. You getting a little too high up on your damn horse, and you need to climb your ass down. And so the producer ends up walking over to Valeria once her mom goes like, oh, I see some chocolate over there, I'm gonna go. And the producer was like, yo, I know you don't like me and you probably think I'm trifling or whatever, but if I was really trifling, I could have just broadcasted this, but I'm gonna show it to you and tell you to be careful. And she's like, what? And basically they caught the mom on camera taking picture of all Valeria's credit cards. And it's like, really, sis? Like, if you're going to sit there and be taking pictures of her credit cards, you might as well have took the $100,000. So I knew it was going to be some more with her. And I'm still not even sure, like I said, unless they did DNA and they just ain't announcing. Is this really her mother? Is it not really her mother? And what are you really, you know, trying to do? And so then they just showed them all going to the floor and dancing, you know, and like I said, Eve kids is coming out on the floor with her at this point. The guy that's been flirting with Naomi through the whole episode is out on the floor with her. E-Rock looking like he feeling a little jealous with seeing them there. And then Valeria walks up and sees him standing there and grabs his arm, and they go off dancing too. And, you know, pretty much everybody is partying. But what y'all think gonna happen? I don't know. Tell me in the comments and let me know what y'all feeling on this one. And like and share it, y'all. I appreciate it. Thank you. Till next time. Toodaloo.